Hello peeps, back again with these little videos. I'm going to carry on with Atari. I haven't done a video for a bit because I've been hammering away at the main and the final burn Neo, which is taking up to, I've been doing them for 2 weeks. I'm going through, so my main collection of my final burn Neo, once it's completed, which I'm not far off now, I believe the end of this next week will be done. Final burn Neo's right now, and literally I'll show you what I'm doing on there. So let's go to where we're up to, R or S. We're up to R, I believe. Should have gone the other way. But what I'm doing, because there's so many different versions of games, like R-Type, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versions of the game. I click one, make sure it loads, preferably the newer one. If it loads, I download the artwork. Then on to the next game, do that. And then in the end, all the boxes that are greyed out, I'll be hiding. So literally, when you click on Final Burn Neo, every single game will work in there. If it doesn't work, it doesn't go in there. And the same with MAME. I'm part way down that. I'm not as deep into that as Final Burn Neo. I'm trying to get that finished. Also, I had a customer who wanted the sharp games going in there, and I didn't have none. And I've got the ROMs. I've got like four or five different packs of them, but I just stuck him some in. That was again, I always try and get them as compatible as I can. That was like 900 games. I got down to 300 odd games. Also, I've been working on Commodore 64, which is one that I always wanted to work on. It had 8,000 games in, and it was just the artwork were ridiculous. There were six disc games and stuff like that, and I didn't want it. So I've gone on to this now, and I'm going through these. Excuse me, again, my throat always dries up straight away to start talking all these videos. And also another quick thing, in fact I'll leave the Commodore 64. I've changed the bezels on it as well now. So anyway, pick up where we was last. Atari 2600, that's literally just in as it was and scraped. The 800, I left it as I was going through and finding as much artwork as I could, which I've done. And also, I've clicked on every single game, so every single game in there's 112 games, every single game works. If it didn't work, I deleted it. Try 5200, same again. In fact, I can't remember, I'll have to double check that. I don't think I did do that. I did the 7800 100%, so every single game in the 7800 works. 5200 I'm not too sure of. But what I'm going to do in this video is carry on with the Atari while we're at it. I'm going to put the Lynx and the Jaguar on. So I've got 2 different collections loaded up. So first, if you press function 1, it'll take us into his Batocera menu. This is a game drive I brought. This is an 8TB hyperspin hard drive I brought, which, like a few hyperspin builds I've had, just stopped working. Oh, by the way, I've shut the windows today, so you'd probably be able to hear me talking. Last time I left the windows open and we could hear the cars. Yeah, this is an 8TB drive, hyperspin, and it was like the 3rd drive that I had with hyperspin that just stopped working randomly. I didn't do anything, I was playing the games, and one day it just wouldn't load up. So that's why, when hyperspin works, it's good, but I've had that happen too many times with hyperspin. So anyway, arcade, we'll go to Atari Jaguar. Atari Jaguar, double check something here. Yeah, I don't think so. So, the drives here, like we've done, Atari Jaguar, ROMs, Control and A, just like you can on your PC. Right click, copy. ROMs is your main drive, which is on my 16, which is not even 15TB hard drive. Advertises a 16TB. I don't know how to get away with that. So, right, Jaguar. Can't see if we're looking again. Blind and seeing it. Copy, paste. This is off hard drive. This is a really small file, so that's it. They're done. And now, what I'm going to do, bear with me. I'm going to flick to my PC. This is my old games collection. This is my PC, one of them. I've got like 4 Atari Lynx. I'm going to not put the media in, so again with this. Copy, And as I've shown you before, if you go into your drop down menu here, you type in backslash Batocera, click that, it will go into my Batocera build on my computer. Go in, ROMs, this is on my 14 terabyte hard drive now on the different PC. So this is the Atari Lynx, which is that, paste that in. Again, it's going to be quick because it's only small files. So that's that. Go back to this. Right. So now, if we come out, well, close window, you'll see them up there, yeah. The Atari Lynx and Atari Jaguar on that there, yeah. So, start, game settings, update games list, yes. And there we go, Lynx and Jaguar there. Obviously, there's no artwork in there yet. So I'm going to put them to go and no artwork there. So what I'm going to do to show you, if you do all your systems in one go and don't do the artwork, if you want to do them all together, if you come on the main menu here, scrape from screensaver, it's telling you there's 16 systems included. Well, I don't want to do all these. All I want to do is the Lynx and the Jaguar. So I'm going to do that. And then scrape now. Now that's just going to find any pictures, any videos and any artwork for them two systems. Which is doing, as you can see in the top right hand corner. Oh, yeah, I'm just checking my internet's plugged in. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you something what I've downloaded on these. So first things first, what I'll show you is, right, let me just check to make sure it's not on. That's system options. Like I say, I'm doing these off the cuff. I don't edit videos or anything, so you'll have to bear with me blubbering away because I'm as old as ill, so I can't remember what I've come in it now. That's how bad it is. But anyway, advanced system options, decoration set. That's what I want to show you, the Bezel project. So at the minute, I'm just going to put them on. So basically, for those who don't know what a bezel is, while that's scraping, you can still play games. Obviously, it's going to slow the process down, but you can still play games. The bezels is the borders on the outside. Obviously, these old consoles, the ratio of the games is a 4.3 ratio, not 16:9, which is your widescreen television, obviously. So, anything like that, or what else have we got? 2600, did I totally turn them off then? So, let's have a look. Advanced system options, decorations, I'll put none on. So if you go on auto, I'm assuming it might be like an old television or something. That was just plain borders around the outside. Now that there, yeah, it's the actual console. So it's showing you the old Atari console. That's what a bezel is, the outside. So now, some of them are okay. But what I found, and this is personal preference again, a lot of people don't like these, but I really like them. They're really good. Take a little bit of downloading. Bear with me 1 sec. Turn that on silent, 1 sec. So yeah, if you come down to updates and downloads, you've got the Bezel project. Now what this will do is search any consoles that you've got games in, and it will put them up so you can download the bezels. As you can see, I've already downloaded most of them. I haven't downloaded the Commodore 64 because I put a separate bezel on there, and I haven't downloaded main yet because I'm going to wait till I've finished it and then download it. But this will find it. So if you've got 50 systems in there, it will find as many systems as it's got available in their database. Now, as you've just seen with the Atari, if I load any game up, or load another game up, it will show you the old Atari in the background. Right? So now if we go into press select while you're in the system, it starts with you on the main menu. Advanced system options, decoration set. Press up twice, go to the Bezel project. Now every single game that they've got artwork for, they've added a bezel for it. So like that, if you click on wearing, I don't know where it's got this. It's just total pop look. It's got most of the games. Now you see the bezel on the outside is for the actual game, which I found some of them really really good. They add to it. They add to the system basically. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You click it, and your bezel is now the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, which is really good. They must put a lot of time into these, and I really like them. Some people don't like them; they just like the original ones, but I really like these. And there's a lot, especially like when you get onto MAME and that. It's literally every single game has got its own bezel. So if I come out now, I know full well. I don't know whether Atari 800 is going to. The way to check if it's got them is go into updates and downloads, and have a look. Atari 800 hasn't got them now. So if we go into a 5200, random game it, Space Invaders, that's bound to have one, isn't it? It's one of the most popular games. It's saying that, and then I ain't got one. Unless these aren't turned on in here. Let's have a look. Select Advanced System Options, Decorations, I haven't turned them on. Bezel Project. Come back out. Now click on Space Invaders. And there we go. When you download these, they take a little while. I mean, I did it on my main 2TB system, so obviously it downloaded loads. I thought I'm having them all, and it took a while to do. So I think I'm going to estimate it probably took about 2 hours or something. And I ain't got the fastest internet. It's not the slowest. I get about 45 megabytes per second, 50 megabytes per second. That's finished scraping them games now. So yeah, again we'll random game it. But they're really good, and I find with some arcade ones, they've got the actual lot of what the hell that's got to do with Popeye, unless he was off his head on crack or something. Yeah, with the click on the Final Burn Neil ones. Sometimes with the arcade ones, they've got the actual the instructions on the outside, which is really good, like telling you what button does what and stuff. You know, so every game, I like that as well. How his foot is actually going onto the screen. I think it adds so much to the system, and it's there. There's so much really, really good work. It must have taken bloody ages to do because there's you can get them for even the place down to the PlayStation, and they've probably got about 1,200 pictures. So obviously you're going to get some. I'd like to show you one. Like on this, if you go on this one, let's say that it might not have a bezel because they'll only be for certain ones, and I'll show you. You can go and edit these. It'll be something that I'll show you in a future video. Oh, that's good. So let's quit out of that. So the one that I've probably selected hasn't got the bezel on. Now you've just seen there's a bezel there for it. So what you can do is go into the system settings and rename it. That's what it is when it hasn't got a bezel. But you can actually go in, function 1 it, go into where the bezels are and rename them. You click that if you wanted it for that file. You click edit game metadata. See at the top where it says 10 yard 85 zip. Make a note of that. Go in, find the bezel and rename it to that. And then when you loaded that out, that would have one. But I'm going to check this because I'm going to come out of that because I'm going off. We're not even here for that, but I'm going to do when I get around to it, I'm going to do a MAME and Final Burn Nail video once they're done, which I'm really looking forward to because I'd love to say that every single game works. On the 500 gigabyte one on MAME, I'm only going to put the standard games in. I'm not going to put the CXE files on, and then when I go to my 2TB system, that'll have the CXE files on. Well, we'll see. Because they're about 60 gig, I believe, something like that, for the games I've got. Anyway. Atari Lynx. So you can see the videos there, the things that I get. Atari Jaguar. Now one more quick thing. Did I updates and download Bezel projects? Yeah, Lynx and Jaguar there. Right, so okay. Now to get that artwork working, update games list. You can load a game as well, that tends to force them to. So we've got all those games or all this stuff in here. Alright. So now we'll click again, and it's got your Lynx bezel on there. Now what I've found with certain things with the bezel project, I really I mean, most of them I really like, but then certain handles, like this is one of them, Lynx, I prefer that bezel what's already on. And I'll show you for why. Same again, personal preference. Other people might not prefer the one. So advanced system options, decorations, decoration sets on default, which is the Lynx bezel. We'll put it on the bezel project. Go back. I prefer the smaller screen because it was such a smaller, lower resolution. I mean, the bezel's really nice looking, but it seems too stretched and too big for me to be. And the Atari Lynx, you might prefer that, but I just think it's way too stretched. So there's only an odd couple that I've found that I prefer the actual bezels that's already in it. So again, select advanced system options, decorations, and I'm going to go with the default. These smaller systems, lower systems, there's not much to learn about, and basically everything's the same. I didn't, what I should have done was, which I'll go back to now, because I should have done it at the start and I forgot all about it. Like I say, I'm not editing, but once you go to put your games in, I've said this on another video, but the first thing you do, like I've just put the Atari Lynx in and the Atari Jaguar. So what you do with, say, the Jaguar, you come here first, you go into your info text and make sure that your pack of ROMs are one of these files here. If it's not one of them files, your games will not work. So you've got zip and 7-zip. Check that first. That's what you check first. I already knew that they'd work, so that's why I didn't say it. But if you're putting your own games in, double check on the info. Every single system within there will tell you, if you click on that Satellaview, which was just a Super Nintendo disk drive thing, it will tell you what files you need to load. Most of them work with zip files, some don't. Some need different files. That's the first thing I should have said, but I didn't, so I said it. So again, let's have a look. So, in fact, advanced system options. Once I get to the more demanding systems and the PlayStation 2s and GameCube and stuff like that, you can go in here and a lot of this stuff makes a difference. And there's a lot of different tips and stuff like that you can learn. But as it is, I mean, Game Raider and smooth games and stuff like that, they might make a difference in here. Again, that's something for you to have a look through. I've clicked them on a few different things, and to be fair, I've already noticed about a flying bit of difference still. Especially with games like this, with these older Atari Lynxes, because I mean, they were basically crap graphics anyway, so. Again, Falcon doesn't work with every core, so I tend to stick with it on auto. So, with that, there's not much there that's going to do anything to really to alter your games. So, we'll go into the next thing. So we'll just, So I've just literally downloaded this pack, and there's repeat games in there, so that's what I'll be doing that now. And make sure there was Riot Road 4, Prototype 2, you see, Prototype 3, and Proto 1. What I'd do with them, I'd make sure the Proto 1 loaded, or whatever. I'd pick the 3, totally up to you, and then I'd delete the ones. Like I say, this is not my normal file that I've got on my system. I've just quickly downloaded this because I didn't want to mess about plugging in the raw driver. But yeah, so let's say that the third one there. If it's a prototype, you're probably better off going with the newest one. I mean, I don't tend to put many prototype games on. Some of them don't look too bad, so yeah, that'll do, that works. So this is how I tidy mine up. I'd come in here and delete it. Delete the, oops. I delete the 2 and keep the 1 on. So anyway, random game, Gauntlet. Again, now it looks like there's 2 of them. So where it's saying there's 90 games, there's probably going to be about 70. I can't remember what my main system's got on it now. So when we load up, Xbox button and blue button on a lot of cores, a lot of things, save state. So you can be playing a game on anything where you couldn't save normally. Even the arcade games, even the Atari 2600, which obviously you could never save. You could save it like that, and then if you press the Xbox button and the yellow button, it will load it straight back to where it is, and it's instant like that. So we're actually getting the emulation settings as well. We can come in it, and this is where I'll go a bit more. Like I say, when we get onto the better systems, I'll go a bit more in depth on them. And the arcade, you can come in and change the controls. You can on Final Burn Neo, stuff like that. You can change the shooting games to work with a mouse and not with a controller. MAME's already set to work with a mouse, but there's a lot of options you've got in here, which is literally jack nothing basically on the Atari Lynx. So that's all you can change on that. Colour format, you can put it on 32-bit. I don't know if that's going to make a bit of difference. I'm not going to mess about it a minute because the games are that bad anyway. I don't think it's going to make anything. But controls. Now everyone, you can come into your port controls, and this is how it's all mapped for you. Thing. So basically it's set to your D-pad. Now, if you prefer you're using your thumbstick, so what you see is D-pads up, D-pad down, D-pad left, D-pad right. So what you do is come down to like your left thumbstick here, look, it's showing you the picture. Then you could change it and have that D-pad up, D-pad down, D-pad left, and D-pad right. Now that's not going to take it off your D-pad. You could do that, and it's going to keep it on both of them basically. Also with stuff like the A and B button, sometimes you'll find a lot of them are the wrong way round. Like that saying A button and it's on B. A lot of them are set the other way round. Like certain games you might prefer it away. So all you do is come in here and change that to A and change the one to B. You can just come in, change it however you want. When you've done, if you want to save that for every single game, which I'll do with that, which is basically I've just changed the thumbstick, so I'll change that for every game. If you come in here, if you only want to change it for the one game that you're playing on, there's just one control on a certain game that you're playing on, you'd click it to save game remap file, and that will just save it for that game, and it won't affect the rest of the games. Now I always want to change it for everything. I click save core remap file. Now that there was made it so every single game I load, which we'll go out of, start. So now that's my D-pad, my thumbstick, my left thumbstick. That's my D-pad, my left thumbstick. So every single game you load up now, you'll have that. I probably will delete this Atari Lynx pack off and put my own on because of all the repeats. I might just quickly go down it. I'll have a look at how many games there is on it and how many compatible. But that's what I'll do. Obviously, there's like only 100 games. That'll be the thing where it's not about numbers for me, it's about compatibility. So if I've got 100 games for the Lynx and only 70 of them work, my system will only have 70 games on. The other 30 I'll get rid of. I don't see them working on the Lynx emulators anymore. With some of the newer systems, I'm going to take them off anyway, but like with your Xbox and PlayStation 3 and whatever else, they're obviously always working on the emulators. So games that don't work now might work in a week or two, you know, if they bring a new update out. So that might be worth saving. I don't even know which one I'm here. Well, anyway, I can't be bothered to mess about that. That one will do. Marlboro. So again, this is just to show you that if I click this now, it's not just going to be that one game that works on the thumbstick. Speed up and speed down, so that's right thumbstick, left thumbstick, so everything and up and down. Everything that I've just changed is just going to change for that one, right? So that's it. Again, these lower videos, they'll only be small videos, the lower systems, because it's so easy to build. Basically, the way I've showed you to put games on is the same for every single system. As long as you check the files, as long as you check that they're compatible with whatever you're putting on, you can't go wrong. Make sure they're compatible. Then it's just all about getting certain things to run and certain little tips you can find that I will be showing you. the games, I'll show them on most, but like when it comes to the bigger systems, PlayStation 2 and stuff, I'm not going to put the games on while I'm doing the video because it will take ages because they're a lot bigger files. So okay, Jaguar. Again, this is I believe this is my proper set, what I use, so this shouldn't have no repeats in it at all. This should all be individual games. There's 54 games. I think I might have more on, I don't know. I'll have a look. Like I say, I've got about 5 different sets of ROMs, so what I'll do, I'll go through them all, and I'll put as many games as I can in, and then just go through and reel out all the bad games, the ones that don't work, or the ones that are in, Japanese or something. I'll take them out. So anyway, Captain Fodder, absolute classic game. It was quite a good port on this Atari Lynx. I mean, they weren't a very good system to try at all. I was going to show the Bezel project, but it's already set on. So again, I prefer the Bezel project on this. The standard ones are okay. The standard Bezzels, it's like just the Atari Jaguar beside. But these, I prefer them. I believe it just adds a bit of something. Like every game you load up, it's not every single game. There'll be some that's missing. You could, they're going to come out at different times. You could even make them yourself. They're easy enough to make. Sensible Soccer, another brilliant game. I couldn't play it for toffee. I could never have this going. But there you go. That hasn't got a bezel on it. So that's what would happen. Everyone that hasn't got a bezel, the Bezel project put that on. And to be fair, that looks neater than the standard one. So the same with that. If you preferred the standard bezel, Sensible Soccer hasn't got one, so you could hold it down just for the game. Come into advanced game options, not system options. Decorations set to the bezels. So if you go to default, then load it up. Because there's no bezel for it, you might. Oh no, it's undone that. I know why it does. It overwrites it. Overwrites it for some reason. You have to go and turn it off, I believe. Let me just double check. Advanced game options, decorations. No, it's still set on thingy. That's why. Yeah, because would it be consoles? I don't know. Basically, I know what it is. It's if I go into the system options and turned it off in it, turn the decorations onto default, then it should load as the default, which is that one. That's the default, which is good. It's smart, to be fair. Either one of them, I like them both. So then system options, I'm going to put them back on. Decorations set. The Bezel project, well it isn't consoles, because that's how we'll try that. The Bezel project. Okay. Now let's try that consoles on here. That's game options, decorations. Basically what it's doing is going to the default, which I've set the default to be the Bezel project, so that's why that default there won't load them anymore, so it might be under consoles. You can download these as well and put any in. You can find them online. There's loads of stuff where you can put. There you go. Let's put that one. If you prefer that, you can, and you find a game that hasn't got a bezel, you can just stick that on. But I'm going to keep them all unified, and I'm going to just put that back to the Bezel project because it's not a bad little bezel. I'm gobsmacked they're into bezels for Sensible Soccer. There might be a thing, so let's have a look. You have to watch with changing the name of bezels. That's another thing that I will show you. In fact, we'll do it now while I'm on it. So we click it, hold it on, advance the game. Sensible Soccer International Edition World. That's a Japanese game, so the bezel might be there, but it needs to be called that exact thing. So if we function 1 it, decorations, the Bezel project, games, Atari Jaguar, there isn't a sensible socket in there. Now, if there was one, or you downloaded it, you just put it in there. If there was one, and it was called something different, you just edit the name of that, and then come back out and it will load. But what you've got to be careful of doing is, the other day, which really pissed me off to be honest, I'd done a load of the arcade games, came in here because I was messing about looking at the bezels. I changed the name of one, exited it, and it locked Batocera up. When Batocera locks up and you haven't changed your metadata, everything you've been working on that morning, so like for 2 hours of me downloading artwork, had gone. It lost everything. And what I found was, when I came into the Bezel project, say if you go onto the Atari 2600, it takes a while for them to load up. If I tried to come out to the system while that was still loading, it locked it up. It did it more than once. I went in and tried it again a few times, and it's done it a few times. So while that's loading up, and you're renaming stuff, let it do what it's doing. And do it. Obviously, the thing I suggest mainly is, once you've gone down it, and if you want to put all your bezels right, write them all down, come in and do them all in one go, and then leave it and come out. Don't keep coming in and out and in and out and in and out, because you're likely to crash in it. Don't know if it's going to do it here. But no, it didn't. But literally, I've had that a few times, so just be careful with that. So, let's have a look at the advanced system options. Again, I think this is going to be very similar to the Lynx. There's not going to be any difference here whatsoever. Doom ResAC, enable Doom to run at correct resolution. Right, that's one thing, so we look at that. So, throats was dry as hell again. Let's have a drink. Sorry. Doom resolution X, so I'm assuming. Let's have a look to make sure it's not on. Advanced game options. That'll be on auto, so let's see if it will automatically put that hack on. I don't believe it will. I believe it'll have to do it itself. So another thing, if you look through, there's odd game that will have its own little hack on it. This being one of them. Again, with the bezels around the outside, I really like them. I think they've done a bloody brilliant job with them. That looks okay to me. Oh, there you go, look. So the resolution on it's a cock. So, come back out. Run Doom. Advanced game options. Hold the button on. Advanced game options. Have a look down. Doom resolution act. Turn it on. Let's see what we're like now. Again, I could have put save state there. So I don't have to mess about at start, I'd go straight into it. They say these videos are going to be quick and quite, I'll do them as and when I can, but the smaller systems, the Ataris, your Super Nintendos and Segas and all that, they're all as easy as I've shown you. Put the games in, scrape them, and they'll just work off the bat. You won't have to mess about with them, they literally just work. If you've got the games, put them in Batocera and it'll drive them. It's a brilliant system for that. You don't have to mess about with anything. It's when I get to the better systems when you'll start probably getting some tips and stuff. But I will show you me putting all this. There you go. Look, that's a full screen now. I will show you me putting all the games on and building my system up as I go along, so we can sort of see the progress of it, like building together. But if you're just building your own system, it's as easy as that. For these lower systems, get a bit slowed down on this. Like I say, this is on a minute. It's on a 3040 with no graphics card in, and Dell Optiplex 3040. When I get a bit further on, I'm probably going to put it in. I don't know. I've got a few systems downstairs with a few different graphic cards in. I'll probably stick in one with a card in it, like a 780 Ti or something. Well, that's that. That's it. That's all I'm going to do for today. Obviously, I'll have a look through these games as I go and make sure everyone works. If they don't work, I'll delete them out. There's only 50 games, it's not going to take long. And as with the Lynx, any of these that are like that, which is a repeat game, USA, Europe. Like I say, what you do, you check these first, because sometimes it will scrape them and that'll be part 2 to the game, but it scraped it wrong. So you're deleting a game that is an actual different game. But there, obviously, that's a beta version. So for me, that one will be the one that goes. Straight away, you see a beta, you leave the one on. Probably should have checked to make sure this works. I'm pretty sure all these work. That's one other thing I'll look at. Oh no, I won't. I was going to say, I wonder what the Bezel project actual Lynx is like. It'd probably just be a full screen still and just say Lynx down the side. In fact, it does, I remember it now. So, lemons, aren't Lynx? Well, you know, so, again, this has got so many different repeats in, don't it? But I'll, like I say, once I've done my system, these won't be in. I'm hoping they're not on my main system because it's another one that I haven't really looked at. But with that, I will probably wrap it up. Sharp is going to be on it. I think I've narrowed that down now to about 330 games. The thing with this Sharp, I mean, there's some some crazy people in the world. Well, you have to be careful with what you say, but a lot of them games, they're like that game that's playing at bottom corner now, but as you load it up, there's like an half-naked anime picture on it. And 9 times out of 10, they look like kids to me, and I think it's absolutely bizarre. So that's the first thing I've done is gone down and deleted all them. Because it's just a bit weird to me. You're playing a Space Invader, why do you need to see an half bloody clothed, like, what looks like a 12-year-old girl or something? There's some, I don't know, I'm not saying them all, just in case. But anyway, they're all deleted off the system. I've narrowed that down to about 330 games, and I put it on. It was about 1,200. Same again, I'm not going to go into them. There's a lot to learn, like on Sharp, there's more little tips on there. Main, what I'm doing with main, I showed you with the face Final Burn near. But with main, because there's only one game of each one in it, because I've already built the pack, I'm going down every game. If it doesn't work, I'm hiding it. And then when I get to wherever I've got to, say if I was doing it today and I got up to, I don't know, G, I think I'm down to about, or H, I think I'm down to F. If that was the last game that I got to, I would scrape it. So then when I come back tomorrow, I know where I'll start. So I'll start off from here and go down again. And I'll load in every single game up. Now that is a massive job to do. Anybody who tries it will know what I mean. If you're going through 2,500, 3,000 games, same with Final Burn Neil, there's 5,980 games. If you're going through all them, it takes a bloody long time. Like I said, I've been doing it for 2 weeks, but I want the final product, what I get there, to be brilliant, and I'll be really happy with it. Also, you know, it's a bit of an accomplishment where you can say that there's 2 sets of games there. I'm assuming that Final Burn Neil will go from 5,980 games to probably 2,500. So I bet you 4,500, just to show you what you've got here. Quickly before I wrap the video up. Should have gone all the way again. Not learning by my mistakes. But that's it. This is what I mean. Look, these are just S's what I've got to go through. But you see so many repeats. That's why it takes so long. But the main one to have a look at, which is absolutely ridiculous, which I've already done, Street Fighter. I mean, I'm not a fighting fan. I'm not a fighting game fan at all. I never got these. When Tekken and that come out, I thought, yeah, at least they're a bit of something different. It's not bloody 2D like these. I thought one of these games was enough. Once you played one, you didn't need to play anymore. But Tekken and that sort of brought a bit of something different. As you go down to Street Fighter, that's Street Fighter 1. So all them different games there, they're all Street Fighter 1, which is that. Basically, there's some different hacks in there and that, which I'll show you about on later on. Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 3. Now as you go down here, I'll scroll down. So these are Street Fighter 2, look, the Champion Edition. I'll scroll down here and keep my finger on to show you. These are all Street Fighter games. Now I counted them yesterday, just out of curiosity. There's over 200 Street Fighter games in there. As you narrow it down, there's 1, 2. There's about 6, 3, 4, 5. 6. Oh no, there's more than 6. So. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So like twice as many as what I said, but there's 11 Street Fighter games on there out of 200. So you imagine that game there from 5,980 is going to drop an hell of a lot. MAME isn't going to drop as many. I'm assuming MAME will probably drop down to, as an estimate of what I've up to where I am yet, it's probably like 1 in 20, 30 games don't work on it. So I don't think that'll go down massively. It might go down to about 2,100 sort of numbers. But once they're done, MAME and Final Burn Neo, every single game you click on in there will work. But that's the Atari's done. I'll obviously, what I'm going to do with the next video, I'll tidy them up, delete any duplicate games, make sure they all work, and then with the next video I do, which I don't know when it will be, maybe next week sometime, I'll put the Atari ST on, which so then we've literally got all the Ataris on what I'm putting on. And then we'll move on to probably after the ST. Once I've done that, I'm hoping the MAME and Neo will be done, so I'll show you quite a decent in-depth video of them and some tips I've learnt to get certain games working and certain games rotated and stuff like that, because the screen will be the wrong way around, and mouse working on certain games that aren't set and stuff like that. But that's it for now. Ta-da.